Hello and welcome to my channel, The Way What Is Truth. Remember to like and subscribe and comment down below. When it comes to friendship, we need to realise something, and that's we can't force anybody to like us. We can't force anyone to be friends with us. And if somebody is friends with us because we're giving them money or we're driving them places or we're treating them, then that's not real friendship either. And there's many people in this world that God will want us to have nothing to do with at all. You know, ideally, Christians should mainly be being friends with other fellow believers in Christ, okay? That doesn't mean to say that we shouldn't have anything to do with unbelievers. It's just that we need to, you know, we need to be discerning, because it's all too easy to be corrupted by other people's bad behaviour. Let's say if we know somebody who we like who is a binge drinker, for example, then it doesn't do well for us, does it, to follow their example and to follow them where they go and to copy off their behaviour. Yeah, that's just one example. Aside from that, we can't force anybody to like us. We need to pray to God for him to provide us with the kind of friends in life that he wants us to have. We need to be discerning. We need to be as innocent as doves, yet as wise as serpents, okay? And believe me, if somebody really cared about you that much, if somebody loved you as a sister in Christ or as a brother in Christ, then they would go out of their way to get in contact with you. If someone's not in contact with you and someone's not communicating with you for whatever reason, or if someone's abandoned you, whether it's because they've become bored of you or they've judged you for some reason, or they don't like you anymore, perhaps they found out something about you that gave them a bit of a shock horror moment and think, oh wow, stay well away from him, or whatever it is, or perhaps they just got bored, or perhaps they were too busy to bother contacting you anymore, or perhaps, you know, sometimes people just drift apart in life as well. You know, sometimes it happens naturally. Not everyone who is our friend is destined to stay in our lives throughout the whole duration of our life's journey. Okay, some people do. Some people enter into our lives, go away, then come back again. By all means, if somebody abandoned us or we lost contact with someone and that person wants to be friends with you again, then be cautious but loving towards them and embrace them into your life again. But you know, we need to be careful, because chances are, if that person drifted away from you, unless it was for a very legitimate reason, like they had to move abroad, or perhaps they have family responsibilities, or perhaps work commitments, that's different. But, you know, we need to be careful. We need to be careful. Because more often than not, if someone wants nothing to do with us, if somebody washes their hands of us in the first place, then that person is not going to come back into your life. Sometimes it happens, but do not bank on it, okay? And we must not be overly possessive. We mustn't become obsessed with the idea that a certain person, for example, has unfairly judged us or unfairly abandoned us when we really needed a friend. You know, but we need to leave it all with God. All these concerns we have when it comes to friendships and relationships, we all need to leave it at the cross of Christ. It can be very hard to trust in God, especially when we're feeling lonely and depressed, or we feel that we have few to no friends. So sometimes we can feel isolated and lonely for many years. Sometimes throughout the whole of our lives, we can struggle with loneliness and with feelings of isolation. I certainly have done. Yeah, so we need to take everything to God in prayer and read the Bible and realise that not everyone is supposed to stay in our lives. Some people come into our lives for a short period of time, some people for a bit longer, then they end up going out of our lives. Some people stay for the duration of our lives, which is the kind of friendship I would like to have. And sometimes we can learn lessons from people and they can learn lessons from us. We can learn life lessons from other people. You know, so, yeah, we need to live and let live in life. And it's difficult, especially when you're lonely and you've struggled with loneliness like me, and you felt isolated like myself. It's really tough. It's really tough. So, yeah, that's really all I've got to say. And remember, some people look like they're a good friend, but really they're not. You know, the fruit of the pudding is in the eating, so to speak. You know, talk is cheap. People can say things and say, oh, I'll always be friends with you. or whatever. But ultimately, you know, people say things, but then life happens. They could have discovered something about you that they didn't like. Perhaps they got too busy. Perhaps they got bored of you. Perhaps they liked you at first, but then discovered that they didn't like you so much as time went on. Not everyone in life is going to like us. And it's within the human nature. It's innate in the vast majority of people for us to want to be liked. We want to be loved. We want to be accepted, okay? I remember when I went to college, I had some work colleagues there. I used to drive them to McDonald's sometimes, and they liked me because of that, but then they ended up taking advantage of my good nature. Sometimes people would borrow money off me, and I'd give them money because I was always quite generous, and I drove them about at college. It was when I was doing my painting and decorating course at college when I was 23. And they took advantage of my good nature. So, but we mustn't go out of our way and become fools just to get other people's approval, and certainly not to get into their habits, especially if they are bad habits, sorry, as well. So we need to be our own people in this world. We need to mind our own business, try to set the best Christian example according to the example that Christ set for us throughout his life, and leave it with God. But yeah, I mean, it's easy for me to say these things because, but really, I'm speaking from my own life experience. I've struggled with an awful lot of loneliness and an awful lot of depression in my life. I've been abandoned by 2 or 3 people. I've hardly known anyone at all throughout my life, by the way. Only 2 or 3 people really that I've cared about that have abandoned me and wanted nothing to do with me anymore. And I do have a friend right now, but he's not up to much. You know, he has a personality disorder. He has an emotional personality disorder. I feel more like his carer. You know, although I am his friend, obviously, but I feel more like his carer. You know, he's not even really, you know, he's not even someone who I could go out with and have a coffee with somewhere, or go to go to the cinema with, or anything. You know, he's really not up to much. He hardly ever leaves the house, and that's been tough on me. Obviously, that's not his fault. I pray for him and I'm there for him. Sometimes he comes around to my house. But yeah. Anyway, I hope and pray that you're all well. As usual, feel free to comment about anything you like down below. Feel free to shoot the breeze about anything you like, even if it's something that's not related to this video. If you've got anything you'd like to add to this video about friendship, then definitely do so down below. And bye-bye and take care, and God bless all of you. Bye-bye.